welcome to the Selina Ray Show, Season 2. My first guest of the season, a wonderful woman. Her name is Joyce Schwarz. She is a consultant, a speaker, and the author of the best-selling book, The Vision Board, The Secret to an Extraordinary Life. What a fine way to begin our 2012 year.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for being my guest.
Well, I am just thrilled to be here.
I have been considering the vision boards for several months now. I didn't bring the board here. It looks a little bit like this.
Blank. Can be larger.
Yes, it's bigger. It's a foam board.
Okay.
And I've been threatening to make one, but I haven't actually got a hold of it yet. So I thought how perfect to have the expert to help us all out on what this is, what is a vision board, and tell us a little bit about it. So would you tell us a little bit about yourself first?
Okay. Wow, this is kind of fun. I thought I would go into just what a vision board was, so it's always fun. I'm probably best known as the consultant who helped launch the Missing Kids on the Milk Carton campaign for Ralph's Grocery Store.
Oh, wow.
I have done a lot of community work. I have a background in advertising with big agencies like Foot Cone. I've worked on all kinds of clients from Sunkiss to Soft Scrub, non-abrasive cleanser. So lots of new products. I've always launched new products, meaning bring new products to marketplace. One of them was Capri Sun, the juice in the foil packet.
Oh, yeah.
And the ad agency before us had a real problem. They had about 200,000 packets of this that was just about, of course, in the foil packet, it can stay forever, but still, they were sitting in a warehouse somewhere. They couldn't get the moms to put the straw in.
Oh.
So I immediately got it, and I said, well, I know you got them in the warehouse, but I tell you what, can we just give them all away? Well, no, we have a few samples, but I said, I want to give them away. It's summertime. Let's go to some rec centers down in places like we find that Alabama and Warm areas like orange drinks more than anybody else. And we have an orange drink. Well, ours has juice, and I said, that's a great advantage, but that's not going to necessarily get us a butt. Right. So I said, let's give them out at the rec centers. We give them out at the rec centers, and the moms, of course, went to pick up the kids at the rec centers. Right. And the kid, of course, is able to put this in, whether he's 5 years old or 15. Right. And moms go, that's how you do it, because moms were slicing it up.
I've been there.
So it was that kind of take it out to the community and let's let it roll, okay?
Oh my
and
gosh.
So I've got experience in that, and then I've always had kind of a two-part life, high tech, high touch. And I had been working since 1986 on working on people and making career change. And of course, I've made a lot of career change from being a magazine editor in New York City for McCall's and Ladies Home Journal, some of you ladies remember it, to working at a college, the University of San Francisco, and helping them launch their campaigns to get more kids to come to the college and raise money, to moving on to be with the advertising agency, and then getting recruited to Honolulu, Hawaii. And here's the great mutuality, is I was working on the campaigns for Hawaii, and also Alaska, and you were living in Alaska at the time.
Yes, I was.
When we did the 4 seasons of Alaska. So it was like Alaska really does have 4 seasons. It's not all just snow,
I know.
right?
And it's
Went
true.
back to grad school, got a master's degree in film, got in the film business for a while, which was a lot of fun, and basically quite an expensive hobby. But I did sell 4 projects. None of them got made except one, but anyway, and then I went on to launching new companies. So I've launched everything from emusic.com to, I don't know if you've got, your child's what, 8? Your boy? And so, has he got an Xbox Connect?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the Connect.
Yeah,
where you are the controller?
Yeah.
I worked with a company
that
did the You Are the Controller.
Oh my gosh.
When they got off the 2006, they got off the plane from Israel, and we took them to the Game Developer Conference, and they go like, we want to get this in. I said, so where's your booth at the conference? Well, I don't have a booth. And you know me, and just from what we did today, let's just get right there. Let's get on the game floor. Well, we can't get on the game floor. Okay, let's go get a suite at the Fairmont. No, it's sold out. Okay, I go up to the concierge at the Sheraton. I'd already had some money for their venture fund that paid me. Took out a $100 bill. I only carry them when I travel. Probably should carry them all the time. But and took you to the front desk and said, could we get a suite? Oh, yes, no problem. I had 2 100s. Guy goes, one 100 is fine. Get them a suite. Next thing you know, they're playing games. We had all these companies coming in to look at it. So it's like kind of just following your vision.
Right.
And at the same time, I was also working on other books. And then in 2007, the first part of 2007, I'd worked over here we are, wow. Over the holidays at Christmas, I had a client that was doing one of these worlds for children, where, kind of like Club Penguin or something,
Yeah, right.
But it was a different one. And he wanted me to work over Christmas Eve, and then he wanted me to work over New Year's Eve. And finally I said, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to fire you as a client. There's just too much pressure, and, I can't do it. And so we're up to date. I'll give you money back for January, whatever. 14 days later, 17 days later, as you know, my birthday's the 14th of January, I ended up in St. John's Hospital. Horrible pain, stomach, intestine. I had some colon thing or whatever with an abscess. They thought they'd have to cut me open. I'm going like, oh, no, I'm going to heal myself. In 3 days I healed myself with the help of antibiotics in the hospital, of course. Didn't have to have the operation. Went home. Very weak, had some reaction to the antibiotics, which I found a lot of people have sometimes. Exactly. And I was like, couldn't even like move my legs very much. And I'm just sitting and looking to do those little, those little strappy things you have. I'm doing them on the couch to move my legs a little bit, because I couldn't even. I was getting on my bicycle, I couldn't even move.
Oh wow!
And I'm going like, oh man, I might be disabled. So I turn on Oprah. It's the show on The Secret, and I go like, I had just seen that like 5 days ago. Although it'd been out a couple of years, I'd just seen it. And I looked at it and I thought, this is fascinating. I've been doing this most of my life. I have great, when I was 13 years old, I thought, okay, here's what I'm doing with my life is I'm going to be a magazine editor. 19 years old, I was an intern for McCall's magazine in New York. And then I later worked at Reader's Digest and was put up at their beautiful, beautiful lodge and given my own minivan and whatever. And a 19-year-old kid from Ohio. And somebody had helped me manifest that or create it. And long story short, I'm sitting there and Lisa Nichols holds up her vision board. And I go like, and of course John Azaroff had talked about it in the book. And I looked at it and go like, you know what? I used to do these and I've done these with my clients in a variation of it since 1986. I wonder if there's a book on this. Vision boards, dream boards, miracle maps, whatever. Well, there was one, there were some homemade books. And there were a couple of books on art, making pictures and collages. I'm going, there's no book on vision boards. I'm going to write the book. And 6 months later, I got the deal in an email on Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish holiday. I get an email from my agent in New York. How is this happening? And she says, it's done. We get a deal. Got $100,000 from HarperCollins. I go, wow. Next thing I decided, I'm going to go celebrate on the Bob Proctor cruise. Okay. Not going to tell anybody yet, though. Because, I'm from Ohio. You got to see it to believe it. I didn't get my check till the end of the year, but that's okay. And so I want to go on the cruise, $7,500. I could scrape it together, but, I've got to be careful, because what if the check doesn't get in, And I'm still having some problems with my legs, but I'm not telling everybody this, right? I'm starting to walk around, I'm still getting recovered. And I go, you know what, I wonder if there's one on eBay. There was one on eBay, and then I went, okay, there was a couple on Craigslist, and I called them, and no, they wanted 3 people to a room, whatever. Then there was one on eBay, and I'm a big eBay person.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. I've got 100% and like 8 ratings, feedbacks, and then I've got like 1,800 things that I do, because it keeps stuff flowing. Remember what we were talking about, the kind of stuff out there. Right now, I got a few things on eBay if you want to look under Joyce Camp. And then I went there. I got the cruise outside cabin with a patio, just me, no 2 people. It's supposed to be that room's supposed to be $2,300. I get it for $600. I'm suddenly on the Bob Proctor cruise. All these famous people that you see from The Secret are there, everything else, and I'm going like, it's meant to be. So that basically is the whole story.
Well, and that's,
of course, how I met some of these people that are in the book.
Exactly.
And of course, Bob Proctor.
I know he
did the foreword.
Yes, Bob Proctor did the foreword.
Guess where I asked him? Jack Canfield I had met previously.
Oh, you had?
I had done the first LA Computer Fair, somewhere around 86, 87. Okay. And no, I don't know when it was, whatever. And out of Pomona, if you're living in Los Angeles, you know there's a computer fair out there. And long story short, I had invited Jack to speak, and he was one of the first people from Chicken Soup for the Soul that I'd actually been able to get him a $3,000 speaking engagement. So he and his partner came out, and so he remembered me because I was one of the first to understand what it was.
I love
so
that.
That's cool. I'm gonna have to get a little water here.
Yeah,
folks.
grab some water, and I'd like to kind of like go right into the book and talk about what is a vision board, and how, where do you start? I know that I read the book over the weekend. Joyce was very kind to have given me a book, and it's fabulous. I was so inspired all weekend.
You could get it on Amazon for $7.65 right now, according to maybe a little bit more at the first of the year. We're doing this just a little before.
Yeah.
It's a good buy. You can get it at Barnes & Noble. Of course, most of your libraries have it too.
Right.
If you can't get it, you can, of course, email you and you'll have some links,
exactly. And absolutely. The thing is that there's so much in here that I could just talk to you forever about it. What a lot of things kind of stood out for me with regards to the book, and the way you have it set up. You have a format, a formula.
Right, a recipe.
A recipe. And it's GRABS, grabs. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, and I'm just going to go back to the question that has been unanswered here on the table here is what is a vision board?
What is a vision board?
Okay, a vision board is a visual map of how you want to create your life. Using pictures, using power words or words that are going to stand out and remind you of things, and then you can go ahead and add embellishments. The most important thing that you want to do is to have your picture in the center of the board. Okay, so you own your board. Most people don't do that, and you want to do a little visioning session ahead of time, but we can get more into how to create it. But it is really a visual map. It's kind of your GPS of how you want to live your life and keep you on track, and the things you want to create in your life or co-create with the universe, or that you want to attract, and by doing some action, some inspired action.
Right. There more than one kind of a vision board, right? There's an overview board you were talking about.
Yeah, there's an overview board. I often call it the kitchen sink board because I kid about it because most people put their Kohler kitchen sinks or kitchen faucets on there. I give Kohler a plug.
Right.
And so you put in all those things you want to create. And I have a client that just put 150 pictures together, and that's perfectly fine. Because what it is, it's like that gets out all of those things or stuff or ideas you've been thinking about. Go ahead and put that up. That is kind of like an overview, kind of like you look at the whole mapping, fold the whole thing, and then, when you had foldable map, and then, or you see on a library wall now, and then you can go ahead and go narrow and narrow, kind of like our Thompson maps or we have, or MapQuest, or Google Maps. So you can narrow it, zoom in. Okay. And that's what the zooming in is. You can zoom in. I'm actually talking to somebody later this week about how to use a vision board to change their style.
Okay.
Their physical style. Yeah, their personal style. How to change their image. There are, of course, inspiration boards that are being used to plan weddings, which is kind of the colors and things for the wedding. Kind of cool. But you can also use a board for career, for business. I really suggest that you have a vision board. I've actually registered startupvisionboard.com.
Okay.
So starting up your own company. And then, of course, you can use parts of the vision board, like a vision statement that would kind of come from doing an exercise like we just did, that would be your vision statement versus a mission statement. The mission statement generally comes from the company down.
Right.
The vision statement comes from the people up. It's the grassroots kind of thing, see? And it's about where you're going, whereas the mission statement may be something like, even with Nike, might be just do it.
Right.
Well, okay, fine. But where is Nike going? So Nike's vision statement, I don't have it right in front of me, but it's like, our vision is to provide equipment and support for every athlete in the world. And you go, oh yeah, I'm not an athlete. Anybody that has 2 feet is an athlete.
Right.
Okay? And even the people that don't, because of course we've seen the Paralympics, to be honest, right? And so, that shows you that they understand what's going on, okay?
Right.
And so it is this vision of not just being narrow. They're not making shoes.
Right.
They're offering a service.
Right.
And so that's where the vision is different. You may be making widgets out of your mission statement, but out of the vision statement, you're visioning your lifestyle.
Your lifestyle.
And, of course, the combination of body, mind, and spirit.
Right. Which is I'm really focused on.
Okay, good.
Really,
back to the GRABS formula, okay?
Yeah, the GRABS formula.
Okay, now the GRABS formula is something that came out probably around 1986 again when I started doing the career coaching. And I was fortunate enough to attract a lot of people from the Hollywood community. I'd opened an office in Hollywood, and once you know it, we were talking about how do you take a good situation and turn it around.
Right.
Suddenly there was a strike in Hollywood called the writers' strike. Some of you may remember every now and then there's this thing about, we're not going to have writers are going to strike. We're not going to have any writers. And that's how reality television and YouTube actually kind of took off too. It was another writer's strike later. And I thought, I'm like with a big office. I got rent. I got two rents. Then I want to get all my Evans. What am I going to do? I'm going to teach a class, right? Okay, there was a class. Just like here, I'm fortunate enough to have a beautiful business center. There was actually a whole theater in the building. So I started offering class. I was offering it a good price, $25 each. Still have good prices for my classes because I want to make them out there so people are affordable and they spread the word. And that's the best advertising that I could have. And the best way, of course, of getting followers and of sharing my vision. If I don't share my vision, that's the other thing I want to say. If you don't share your vision, you're really being selfish. I know that's tough to say, but here you are sharing your vision.
Yeah, and it's in here. I read that today. This morning I kind of went through the book again and pulled out some points about that because it really is about sharing.
Yeah, and that's where I dedicate the book, is share the vision most of the time. It is about sharing. We start with the idea of being grateful, gratitude. That's how everything starts. Unless you're grateful and acknowledge what you've done in the past, or you're grateful for what you had. And sometimes people say to me, I thought, you know what, when I was doing that chapter on gratitude, I thought, once again, watching Oprah in the afternoon is a break, and this thing's on deadline. Deadline for the gratitude chapter. I'm going, I need some inspiration here. Grateful, I'm grateful for everything, but I still got to get the chapter done. And there was a lady, and I went, who was talking about she wasn't grateful or whatever. Oh, I know, but this is a cute story. Watching Oprah, this one lady on there, Oprah gave away a lot of stuff, and the one lady comes up, and she's sitting in the front row. She's not on the stage, and she goes like, well, I want some carpeting because the foster kids I'm working with are allergic to this carpeting. We think we have some mold and whatever. And I up against the Lowe's to come in or whoever it is, give them all brand new carpeting, and all these people are going to help her with the carpeting and whatever. Okay, so she goes, thank you. Then this other lady comes up, well, I want a new house because I want to be doing some work in the community, or she actually had the community kids or the gang kids come over and meet at her house. And then long story short, she said, the lady in the front row goes, but I only got rugs. And Oprah, and I don't know why they even let this in, but Oprah just kind of looks at her and says, yeah, you got to dream bigger next time. So the idea of not being grateful, too. Not being grateful. I'm sure that's why Oprah left that in. The lady wasn't grateful for her rugs. So you got to start from gratitude and giving whatever, even if it's just a smile. Then you want to move on to receiving. From this moment, you are ready to receive. I believe you are, from the higher power, creativity, God, whatever your creative source, you are really have that right to receive from the moment of being born. Then you want to release. You want to release any sort of, false data that you have, or any false beliefs or other things that are stopping you. You want to move on to acknowledging yourself for what you are doing every day. I keep a little acknowledgement list at the end of the week. And then what you want to do is to ask, of course, like the ask, believe, and receive. And this is kind of my counter to the ask, believe, and receive, the GRABS formula. And then what you want to do is to take actions. I call them lalas, little actions. Now that's not in the book. That's a little extra. Lalas, little actions. Of course, I happen to live in LA too, so the lala thing. And then from there, what you want to do is to believe and be authentic. And if you can't believe, suspend the disbelief, just like you're going in a movie theater. And then the last one's sharing, which brings us back to the circle of the giving and of the gratitude. That's how simple it is. And of course, in the book, each one of these has a chapter, and so it's more explained.
Right, exactly. But you have the, when you go to, like, you have your blank
board,
your blank canvas. Like, this is your board.
This is your potential.
This is, and explain. You get to create whatever you want. It's your vision.
Yes.
So how do we know? Where do we get that information from? Like, do we just know what our vision is? I can tell you, I can't say that I can't actually say that I knew exactly what I was envisioning. I had a feeling.
That's why you didn't do your board.
I didn't do my board.
Right, that's why you
Right.
didn't do your work because you didn't know where to start.
I didn't know where to start.
And you didn't want the idea of actually, putting down stuff that wasn't right for you.
Right. I mean, I could make up all kinds of great things.
Yeah. Well, like what?
Right. I could say that, I want a big house on the hill and, peace on earth and, all of those things. And those are all true.
Okay.
Those are all
So that's
true.
one thing that you can put
Right.
on a board.
Right.
Sounds a little more like a Christmas card.
Right. Like this is...
A house on the hill and peace on earth
Right,
above
right.
it. Which
Exactly.
is not a bad Christmas card.
Not a bad Christmas card. But,
And that's the other thing, everything in our lives is
Mhm.
reflecting our
Right.
visions already.
Right.
The pictures that we have on the
Yes.
refrigerator,
Yeah.
the pictures we have in the cubicle in our office, the pictures at the surroundings of what we have. And there's a chapter about the feng shui of vision boards
Right.
from Marie Diamond,
Oh,
who talks about even the pictures on the wall. Look at these beautiful
I know.
pictures of
Mhm.
sailboats. Now, for a kid who was living in a housing project in a tin roof kind of thing, looking on a chicken wire, what better? This is the reflection of what we see out there.
It is, absolutely.
And the interesting part is that Kodiak is an island, right?
Yes, it is.
And you ever see some water out there?
All kinds of water.
So we both have, for some reason, these pictures are meaningful to us.
Mhm.
You have a different meaningful take on it than I do. It's a person
Right.
eyes kind of thing.
Right.
Now that's looking at a visualization, and yet when we look at the interpretation of it,
Right.
it's coming from the inside.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So we
Okay.
can see the visual, but it's going to mean something different for
That's right.
you and I.
Right, and of
all
course
us,
your
right?
house on the hill.
Mhm.
Okay, now when John Azaroff did this, he just picked some pictures
I
on it and
remember
turned
that one
out
too. Yeah.
that was the exact
That
house
house.
he was living in.
That just
You might say that's synchronicity. It may not happen that way. It may. But most people don't go through and pick out a picture and say, this is the house that I
Mhm,
want.
right.
But you could do that. I
Yes.
did that with Eris Baskiskas, who was the winner of Survivor.
Right.
And he had $1 million and he never spent any of it.
Mhm.
And I said, what is it that you want? And he says, I want a house up in Topanga, which is a beautiful
Mhm,
canyon
yes,
here.
beautiful.
And I've gone out with 7 real estate people and nobody can find it. I really want one that's a lot of greenery and I want to be able to do my yoga classes
Yeah.
and studio up there. And I said, so how important is the big house? What's more important is to have a patio, have a place for my dog, and have a place for my guitar. I'm thinking, you need something outdoors. Maybe even a fixer-upper.
Yeah.
So we go to the Google thing, and we go to Google Images, and we go Topanga Canyon, and then we put in greenery and gardens, and then we start taking pictures out over the phone.
Yeah.
And I send him these, and he goes, oh my God, now, and he basically designed his own little
Right.
resort up there.
Well, that's what we're doing with the
Yes.
vision board. We're designing the life that we
That's right, the lifestyle.
style. Right. And it isn't, because it's usually a feeling.
Yeah,
You know,
it
to
is
me,
a feeling.
To me, for me, it's like a feeling. When I look at a vision board, we did a little exercise. I'm going to show you. I'll take pictures of it and have it on the web, on my site.
Yeah.
Because it's really interesting. She had me do this exercise.
This
It was
exercise is called Passport to Possibilities, page
Mhm.
6 and 17 of the book. And what it is most of us, the reason we don't start our boards, we don't know where we are today.
Yeah.
There's so many things that are, talking about frequency, talking about, you've seen those statistics about the implosion of the pictures or
Right.
images we see in a day, and you
Right.
think about you're scrolling around, or you're doing your remote, or you've got your your phone or your PDA or your iPad,
Mhm.
and all these pictures, and suddenly like, oh my God, everything is like. It's like a kaleidoscope of images is the best description.
Right.
Worst description is you feel like you're in some sort of a little merry-go-round and, it's going round and round and round and you don't even know what you see anymore.
Right. Right. And that's where I was. This is, I really realized that I really didn't know where to start.
So she came to the expert?
So I came to the expert. And so in this book, I mean, it's such a fantastic, really does take you through the process of finding, the visioning aspect.
Look at this.
Mhm.
That's interesting. I wonder what's in there. You
Mm.
never know. See everything. There's some, I don't know if those photos are any good, but they're stuck in one of the books accidentally. And I wanted to give a quote here because it's really kind of good about Maya Angelou, who,
I saw that one.
yeah, let's see. Yeah, can you read out of my glasses? I'm sorry.
Okay. It says, life loves to be taken by the lapels and told, I am with you, kid. Let's go.
And Maya Angelou,
Yeah.
no nonsense kind of lady.
Yep.
And you can see her saying that to Oprah, and you can see her saying it to a street
Mhm.
kid, right?
Yeah.
And this kind of thing is, like, sometimes you just got to take hold of it like you did. Find an expert, we've got vision board coaches, 150 cities around.
Right.
go to visionboardinstitute.com. You'll have all the links up there
right,
for them, right?
I'll have all the links. Because
and so she's one-stop shopping in terms of finding information about this now.
Right.
And we'll have our video up, of course, on our sites too. And we'll have our video probably to be used for our coaches around the globe, if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely. I think this is such a
This
fascinating...
is a good idea. And the thing is that we're going to reveal the little secret sauce here of what makes our system different from just cutting and pasting and then having step by step. Yes, you can do an overview board, or you can do a intentions board, or you can do a board that's planning a wedding or planning your 50th anniversary. You can do a celebration board. People are even using vision boards to let go and release when their pet dies now. People are using them for grieving. We're working with somebody out of Atlanta who's using it with brain damaged or traumatic stress people that are out of the military, because, and you also can use them with Alzheimer's patients or seniors or elders, because the pictures are among the last of the things that go for the imaging. And we've worked with children and families, a family vision board, of course. And so there are various, kinds of things that you do as you narrow off, once again, going back to that big map, you're unfolding the map, going in, and you can either get directions for where you're going, which is kind of your vision path, right?
Exactly.
Or you can look at this, or you can zoom in and look at one part of it, and decide kind of if you're going from Los Angeles to Boston over the holiday period, or you're planning a Valentine's weekend, or you're planning a Mother's Day escape for the girls, or whatever, is that there are a lot of ways to get to Boston from Los Angeles. You could drive, you can go ahead and take an airplane, you could take a train, you could take a bus if you want to take a nice tour, you could have a caravan of people going out there, or what? You could go ahead and go on a helicopter, or there might be other ways. Or all of a sudden you go like, we don't have the money to go to Boston. Well, what could you do? One, I would probably take a look at bringing the Boston to you in some way. Is there somewhere we can bring somebody that has the history of Boston? Is somewhere we can bring the Cheers atmosphere and do something at a local pub? And getting as close proximity. Maybe there's a game for, I don't know, football, basketball game. You could go for Boston. Who knows? Maybe they're giving away a trip to Boston.
You don't know.
I don't know. And part of this is to, once you know where you want to go, then you begin to follow the path, and you've got some power words. You want to go into this, or what?
Well, you know what I want to do, once we get the board done. Let's say we got our board done, we've got our lifestyle board, or whatever it is we've got.
Our fashion board,
how
our inspiration board.
How do you connect into it? What do you do once you got the board, instead of putting it behind the bed, or
yes,
like
you
in
can
the
do that. You put it in a space where you're going to see it. You also can take multiple versions of it. You can go to a Kinko's or a FedEx store and have it scanned.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Okay, or you can scan it yourself. It's smaller, but if it's bigger, $10 they'll scan it for you.
Oh wow, great.
Okay, and then they'll give you various sizes, just like they would with portraits. Like we could have it big on the wall here. We can make it into a triptych, or we can make it smaller. We can, of course, make it into a keychain, because you can all these little keychains.
That's right.
All these little things. We can put it on your phone.
Yeah.
We can have it as a screensaver.
I see what you're saying.
We can go ahead and make, even if wanted to go as low tech, somebody wanted to know on one of the boards, Powerful Intentions, how she keeps this. She's traveling 45,000 miles a year. And how does she take her vision board with her? And somebody says, we could roll it up. That's perfectly true. We've got one of our vision board coaches in London, Elaine Gleason, who has people do them on just rolls of paper, so they can roll it up and take it on the tube going home, right? It's very hard to carry vision board in the middle of London, right? And plus people are maybe a little bit shy to show it off, right? Okay, and that's the other thing about sharing the board. That was the thing that I came out with before almost anybody is, John put his board in the box. Well, I wasn't sharing with anybody, And so the most important thing I say is to share the board. Why? Because other people are going to help you realize your vision. Good question on the good example is we had Maria Bamford, and some of you may remember the holidays are just over, or if you've seen this another time of the year, remember the zany lady in the Target commercials in the United States, because I know people seeing all.
Oh yeah, that's right. Open. Oh yeah, we got. Okay, yes. Okay.
We had gone to her house up in Los Feliz or Silver Lake, California, taking pictures of her vision board. You'll see them on my blog at visionboard.info if you want. Fortunately, they weren't up to par for HarperCollins. They wanted like the best things to put in the board, to put in the book. So it was, a little bit blurry. But anyway, she had made this vision board, and she put on there a bunch of things that she wanted in her lifestyle and whatever. And her sister came along and said, "How come you don't have the Jay Leno show? You're on the Jay Leno show. Jay Leno show on there again." She goes like, what are you doing with the microwave on your board? You got other things. And she had a big one, which I loved, which was thank you, and her dog.
Oh.
And it was thank you to the audience who's going to see her. And her dog was really important and kind of thing. But she also had this microwave oven, her sisters. You really have a microwave oven in your vision board? I mean, think bigger, you know. And Maria goes, I need the darn microwave oven, you know. And her sister says, well, you know, they're in Minneapolis. Sister says, you know, well, I've got some stuff in Mom's garage still stored away from my wedding shower. She goes, yeah, you got a microwave? She goes, I got 2 in there.
Yeah.
Somebody given her a mini microwave, which Maria could take on the road, being a traveling comedian. And she got both. So she got 2 microwaves. And her mom says, Mom comes out the garage, you getting rid of that junk out there? And she goes, yeah, Maria's taking boxes of it.
Yeah.
She goes,
yeah, everybody's happy.
So it's that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
sometimes it's that simple.
It is that simple.
You know?
Well, Joyce had me do this little exercise when we first kind of sat down, and we didn't do it on camera because it was kind of fast paced, and I wasn't sure how I was going to show you the board.
She wasn't sure how it was going to turn out.
I had no idea. So what she did was she brought 3 magazines. Well, just 3.
Yeah, I brought 3. I should be the magazine queen, but I'm only the goddess of vision boards.
TV Guide and Costco Connection. Okay. So she had me.
Hey, Costco, you got the book in Canada. Let's get the book down here in USA.
Yeah. Yeah, Costco.
Yeah.
But what she had me
do was
what she had me do was go through the magazines and just pull like a few pictures out of each one.
That attracted her.
That attracted me.
Struck her. Something kind of like, you know, that thing of like, you know, you walk in a store and you're looking for something and that pink sweater just says, that's you. You weren't looking for that pink sweater, but it just says, that's Selina.
Right, and so she had me do this. It was a bit like an exercise, really, right? So she had me do it really fast. Like I couldn't think about it. I couldn't think about it. I wasn't looking and slowly going. No, I was going through them really fast. And every time something came out, I ripped it out.
She's paging through the magazine, but real fast. Kind of like you have to page through, and you gotta find something. But you know,
it's really stream of consciousness in a lot of ways. That's how it
got
felt
that
to
whole
me.
Right.
So
background.
It was stream of consciousness, and so I pulled out these images, and
5 to 7 images,
and I laid them on the whiteboard, and then Joyce went through it and had me kind of gave me some information
and prompts
yeah,
just like journal prompts,
and it's fascinating. I'm going to take a picture of this because I want you to see what I came up with just in this. It was 8 to 10 minutes, how I arranged it on the board, and a little bit about what I got out of it, because it was really fascinating to me what we got.
Just make sure we didn't lose one picture there. I was looking at
they're
that
all
one.
there.
Okay, cool.
They're all there, and it was absolutely fascinating. And that exercise, it's in the book.
Page 16 and 70, but we're gonna reveal it because it's on MSN Canada, so we don't have to worry about violating the copyright. We can actually give it on your website.
So what I'm going to do then, because I do the After the Show blog, as you all know, and I will put links to those pages, and links to everything the wonderful work that Joyce is doing with her. She has a coach.
We have a certified vision board coach program, and in 4 weeks you can take it via teleconference.
Okay.
And you can do a home study in 8 weeks, and so you can certainly do that. We also have an accredited vision card reader where you become we actually have some vision cards, which I didn't have with me, darn it. And the idea was that I went out to Malibu. You know where Malibu is, of course, Mary. You know, everybody knows where Malibu is, right? Come on, in the world. 107 degrees 2 summers ago. Yeah, heat wave of the world. Yeah. I'm out at some ranch somewhere for one of these wonderful kind of, artists kind of thing. And my mom would have said hippies, but, artists wearing their long dresses. And somebody's over here doing Indian soul, whatever it is, or making, somebody's over here doing crafts. Somebody else is over doing yoga, whatever. And I'm in a teepee. Okay, and I thought the Indians should go there, but that would be stereotyping. And I'm supposed to be doing my vision work. I get to the magazines. And I take it on my little suitcase, and the magazines of all deteriorated, like they were really like, you know, the ink comes out. This was like really all of a sudden I'm going, oh no, how am I going to do my vision board classes? Glue's all poured out of the little glue stick. Glue stick, like, I go, I gotta have a better way. And I thought, vision cards. And so not what you think. They're not pictures of stuff. They're just unusual pictures that you can then self-interpret.
Wow.
And so we have that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, and that's a vision card class, and that you can do a home study. We're only 2 nights for 90 minutes.
Wow.
And then we have other things that we'll talk about, and we can also, if you want to have a vision board coach work with you, we have 155 coaches from mainland China to South Africa to Lebanon. Just had 2 big vision board classes in Lebanon, Beirut. And we have them in UK, and we have a new one in Norway, and we're now entering the Mideast, somebody in Abu Dhabi, I know, and we just have a new course we're going to be offering, which is going to enable people to empower people to be life and career coaches, which will do visioning, and so lots of good stuff that will help.
Right, well, I'm so inspired. I can't wait to show you this board. What's this called again?
This is called Passport to Possibility. And this is kind of a mini board that you do prior to your vision board to give you an idea of where you are. Kind of like Where's Waldo, or like at the shopping center where it says you are here, or like the museum, you are here, or in a park, you are here, and gives you the map around you.
And that's Passport to Possibility.
Right, and that's a little mini board. And that's one that I suggest you start with.
Okay, great, because I'm kind of on this little path of envisioning, you know, where I'm creating 2012.
Right, we are.
And I'd like to be kind of the master of my ship to a degree. So, I know, right? Perfect, right?
You are the master of your ship.
Yes, but I want to know.
Now, one of the things I wanted to say is you asked me where to go. Well, you just said, you're master of the ship.
Yeah.
Okay, and so part of it is, what is the master of the ship? That's the captain.
Yeah.
One, you want to keep a captain's log to see where you have gone.
Right.
To acknowledge where you've gone.
Right.
Okay, and you've got video log of that here.
Exactly.
Okay, and as we were saying, maybe there's some highlights that you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Put that together to become. We have some key power words here. The storyteller,
I know, right?
And this was actually picked out just in minutes. Fast forward, which means that you want to move forward fast, but that doesn't mean super fast, but maybe there's some other reason there.
Right.
We also had some visual cues. Now, I use some prompting questions, but she has now visual cues, or they would be maybe like the road signs.
Right.
Or your GPS would say on the left you would see, or in the old days would give someone directions and say, you know, it's two blocks past the red barn, and when you see the purple cow, you know you've gone too far.
Right.
Okay, and so it would be something like that, and certainly on where you're from, they would have given directions like
exactly.
that, right? And wherever my grandpa was
definitely
from.
a storyteller way of
That's
giving
right,
directions.
that's right.
So.
And the other thing is we also have cues here, and you'll see on the pictures here, of other things that you can explore. You can now have one, maybe you want to do a vision board for your style, although you look lovely. We were talking about one of the things she picked out were some pearls. Well, pearls of wisdom, certainly, which we hadn't thought of before, coming out of the show. But there may be something that she wants to wear, signature pearls. Yeah. You know, it's always kind of nice. You look at the pearls, you look at the jewels, and you kind of figure them, and there is a sense of style that you have that is acknowledging yourself as what? The star and host of your own show.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, and so you have some cues, and then what you do is you want to follow those cues, and then you want to let it to the universe. And you want to have the frequency of kind of like looking at that. Okay, fast forward. Is there something I should be fast forwarding? We looked at this, which was so interesting. You picked out a little thing that said YouTube on it. And then when we spied it really close, we want to focus and zoom in, we actually saw that it said SBA.
Right.
I didn't even think of what SBA meant, but you got it right away.
Right.
Small Business Administration on the SBA. I don't even know what's up there for small business. But what if you could be the empowering person of helping people and doing some sort of show about the SBA or for the SBA?
Right.
Or maybe taking it beyond that and of taking your pearls of wisdom and doing some storytelling or some presentations.
Yeah.
Or a series that they had you as a consultant.
Right.
And we don't know, but we're going to keep that up. SBA could also mean some initial of a company that may hire you.
Exactly.
It could be someone else out there.
So
His
really
name's Stephen or Sharon.
Right, and it's about paying attention and just noticing
Right.
as this unfolds, because we put this on paper. It's now visual, and it came from this feeling. It came from a very stream of consciousness kind of thing. So now I get to.
We're looking for the synchronicity.
Right.
We're looking for the road signs.
Right.
We're looking for people that will help us and show this when you see it on there.
Absolutely.
If you get anything else from this, and you get something strikes you,
right,
and you look at this online, you want to email Selina,
right,
and say, hey, I looked at that, and I think that maybe you should take a look at this.
Perfect. I'm always up for that.
There's the idea of we are this communal universe, and we are this great community. Yes. And one of the things we want to do is to share. Maybe there's something else that comes out of that. Maybe you've got a friend at the SBA. Maybe you're doing a storytelling conference.
Right, exactly.
You want to have Selina there? Want to have me there? We're here.
Right. Great. Well, Joyce.
So that you just put it in action.
You do.
And you just put it into action. You practice the GRABS formula. And you begin to live your vision in as close proximity as possible. Yes. Now, just like the JPL, you're from Pasadena, these skyrockets over at JPL, which is, of course, SBA, JPL. See, that shows you the three-letter word.
Right.
It's not the same word, but the three-letter acronym, JPL, or the initials, is that they're always a little off course. So what you have to do is go, move it on again a little bit.
Well, if you have something to kind of you get your focus on,
right?
And then just it's something you're looking at.
And once again, you can go to a style board. You could do a whole board about being a storyteller, which might give you ideas to do shows on for the coming year.
Exactly.
You could do a whole board with his car here about where you want to take this on the road traveling.
Right.
You got plenty of room in that car
to
put all good stuff and to put your son in too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
Maybe you want to take this on the road, and maybe pearls of wisdom. Maybe people want a few pearls of wisdom. Yeah. Also, we're talking about positivity. Yep. You were talking about writing a book.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you are.
There's
the
a lot
fruition
here.
of all of this, and this was just an 10-minute thing.
It was, and that was just to me. It was so.
No, this is not how you do the whole board.
No. This is just the passport to possibility. And
right.
This is a stepping stone. I feel
absolutely.
Like
this is exactly what it is.
How I can get started with my board and really
jumpstart.
Yeah, it definitely is a nice little jumpstart. I'm very excited. I'm motivated.
And you can always go back to the jumpstart if you get stuck again too. You can always do another one of these. And if you had something specific we were talking about, maybe you had wanted to go traveling this year.
Yeah.
Or say you wanted to take a trip for your 25th wedding anniversary to Spain. Then we would do is you'd actually go through the magazines and you would pick out pictures that maybe caught you about going to Spain. You go, oh, here's one. Spice. Maybe I want to go and enjoy certain restaurants named with different spices, and I would start it that way.
Exactly. It's really quite simple. I don't know why.
That's why visioning is deceptively simple. The ancient art of visioning, where people would get together in a circle and they would vision. There's a tribe in Africa that still does this. At the end of the day, they tell their stories. Talk story. It's called, having lived in Hawaii. Done in most indigenous areas, right? Right. The sailors and their families coming about, talking stories about their sea cruises, right? Always done. Not done so much, but done in social media now.
Right.
Okay. And so we talk story about at the end of this day, the tribe does, and they believe that everybody that tells their little story, or their story, big story, maybe they escaped a lion, maybe they were able to catch 10 fish. They've got a big story role. No matter how big or how small their role is, they believe it's part of the whole tribe story, and it's part of their story.
Which is a really big part of the work that I've been about for quite a while, is to, I feel like the tribe is gathering and we're sharing ourselves, sharing our gifts with each other, and our triumphs.
Right.
And our, challenges.
Challenges, right. And that's where I think being authentic. And if you follow me on Facebook, you'll find I went through some really tough times this year with my mom in and out of the hospital almost 9 months. My brother had some challenges. And I put up there, it's a let go, let God day. I need your support.
Yes.
I'm not up there saying, hi, I am a vision board expert. I do call myself the goddess of vision board.
Right.
But I do not think that I have the guru of the world.
Right. We're all, and that's what I love about social media in general, just with my Facebook page and Twitter and my blogs. Just it's really just sharing where I'm at and where I know that I'm not unique. And
you are unique.
Well, my issues and my challenges are not unique though.
Right.
So usually there's mirroring going on.
A personal mix of it may be unique. You may be, dealing with 3 different things at once, but it's kind of like all of us have either been there or will go there or have been pretty close to it.
Mm-hmm. And we have there's wonderful, knowledgeable people, friends, that I've made, and I'm just so thankful, very grateful.
So really out of the box thinking.
Definitely, and it's food for thought, and for me, it's like I hope to live my life with the lid off, so that I'm I don't have all the answers.
Explain that lid off. That's kind of a cool thing.
Well, because some people they live in
Remember
they live in a box, right?
Spice?
Yeah, they live in a box, right?
See, there's no coincidences.
Right, they live in a box, and some of us have. I spent a good part of my early life with lid on. My life was in a nice little perfect box. I had the perfect house and a perfect husband and perfect
lid on the box, like that present that's unopened.
Yes. And so it wasn't until I was I had to open. I had to take the lid off and get my feet wet and start somewhere and realize that the world is much bigger than I can ever imagine, and that it was a huge breakthrough for me. So this is another start. I'm starting another.
I actually, the take I got, and this is what we're asking you to give when you're seeing the shows. Give us your take on this. Right. Is that I had thought, because I'd picked out spice, and I guess my mind was on it, and made me get a little hungry. I was thinking the lid on the pot on the stove.
Yeah.
That's percolating, or the lid on the percolator, the lid on the. I don't know what. I guess your automatic coffee makers now have lids on them too. Or the lid on the. But mostly I was thinking the pot on the stove, that the lid was on, and so the lid's on for a reason, let it simmer. See?
Yeah.
Really has to, you want to get that chicken in the pot, right?
Right.
You got to simmer, you got to get it, more tender.
Right, exactly.
Okay, and then you're ready, and you open it up, and there's all these aromas, and the mix, the potpourri that we all are, or the, what do you call that, of just this combination of all these great things.
Yeah, it is.
And every culture has it. You've got the fish stew, right?
Yes, we do.
The Hungarians got the great goulash. I mean, everybody loves the soup. And the old stone soup, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Brings us back to this whole thing.
It does.
And now we didn't have any cooking things on there, so
no, which is amazing.
But I had pulled this out with spice, and so I'm just putting it on.
That.
But we do have the grabs being the recipe.
Yeah, it is definitely. I'm really excited to.
And I'm so thrilled that I was here to kind of explain this again. And I have to say, this amazing session with this, I've been doing this since 1986 with clients that came in and were changing careers, and I've done it all across the board. I did this with people that were doing Caltrans. They were out there putting the things on the highway and picking up the orange, with the orange uniforms on, and picking up trash and all kinds of things that they do to service our community. And I've done it with a guy that's created $74 million of income for his company. And it seems to be the easiest way to find out where you are, kind of the Where's Waldo kind of thing.
I love this. What a great exercise. So
we're going beyond the vision board, and that's where you want to go. You want to, once again, this is the feng shui thing. You want to have this with you. You want to have the reminders. But you also then have fast forward, okay, and you have storytelling, and you have some key or power words. And we're also talking about, you could put your favorite quote on here. Yeah. Vision board is never done. Vision is a vision in progress. Exactly. We are visioning. We are living our life in progress. And we always want to stay in the present. Right. Going back to the box being open, that there is a present, and it is the idea of being present, and the idea of using and starting with gratitude and sharing. And that's why I'm not against regifting. You can go ahead and do that. And, what if you have nothing to share? That was the one story I didn't tell. And I looked on the Oprah blog thing the one day, and I just went in and I went like gratitude. And I thought and I put, what if you're living in a trailer? Yeah. Gratitude trailer. And I know you call them mobile homes and all that, but what if you're living gratitude in a trailer and you're really kind of like living a substitute, just getting by. Maybe not getting by, unfortunately, this week. Maybe go to the soup kitchen. Maybe went over to get some extra cheese. You know, I admire you for being able to do that. There was a wonderful little segment on something that was promoting a food bank, and it showed the guy next door didn't want to go because he was ashamed. The other guy was out mowing his lawn, and he says, "Where are you going?" He says, "I'm going to the food bank." He says, "I was just there. You know, I asked for the Swiss cheese." Very cute, huh? But this lady was creating gratitude bracelets, and one of them's in the book.
Wow.
She was taking charms that she bought at the flea markets. And some lady had given her, older woman moved out and gave her a bunch of charms, and she put these on bracelets, make gratitude bracelets. And I said, well, weren't you scared to like start your own company? And she ended up having a gratitude, I mean a bead company in Wisconsin, and a bead store. You know these bead stores? She was a little too ahead of it, but you know, until you get in the train. And she said, no, I had to do it. I had to show my gratitude for being able to have a home. And you know, we don't call it a trailer, we call it our mobile home. And by this, I was able to move out. I was able to give my mobile home to someone else who bought it. And I was able to take some of my beautiful blankets and, of course, my bracelets. And next thing you know, she's in the magazine. I'm going like, wow. I don't know if I would have the guts. If I'm in a mobile trailer with my dog, I don't know. But then again, that's what the value of sharing is.
It definitely is. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing.
There we are clapping.
I know,
kind of like, clap if you love vision boards.
I do.
Clap if you love
I'm very
vision
excited.
boards.
I can't wait to get started. I'm just so excited. But thank you very much, Joyce, for being here with us today.
Thanks for sharing the vision.
And here's to 2012 and a fabulously prosperous year for everyone.
Prosperous and health, wealth, and the whole sense of living your vision.
Let's create it. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Joyce.
Bye.